Hi, here we are with our first episode on Decode Issues Unfolded. Today we are going to unfold the raging border issue between India and Nepal. Currently, the Nepali government and the opposition parties in Nepal have joined hands together and are on the verge of clearing a new map in their parliament. This map in fact contains 3 disputed territories between India and Nepal, and we are going to deal with this particular issue in specific. In this episode, we'll also try and answer 3 basic questions to understand the issue. First is, what are the chronology of the events and how did we end up in this situation with regards to the Indo-Nepal relations? Second, what are the historically significant facts behind this issue? Third, the role of the Nepali politics in influencing the Indo-Nepal relations. Now, before we answer this question, I'd like to give you an idea of 3 important places. And I want you to remember them since we'll come across these names again and again as we decode. First is the Lippu Lake Pass. This is a strategic pass located in the northeastern part of Uttarakhand and connects India with the Tibetan region of China. This is also significant for India as a trade route and a route for the Kailash Mansarovar Yatris. And this forms a triangular junction between India, Nepal and China. Second is the Kalapani region, which is located southwest of Lippu Lake, and this is significant strategically as it overlooks the Chinese territory, and this particular Kalapani valley is formed by the Kali river. Third is the Limpiadura range. This is a Zanskar range in Himalayas northwest of Kalapani. This is significant as it's an origination point of a river called Kuttiyangti, and we'll come across this river also again. Now imagine with me these 3 places. First is the Lippu Lake, which is on the northeastern part of Uttarakhand. Just southwest below it, a few kilometers below Lippu Lake, is Kalapani. And northwest of Kalapani, at a distance of 16 kilometers, is Limpiadura. Now if you connect these 3 places together, you get a triangular region of about 300 square kilometers. Now this triangular region is of contention between India and Nepal. In fact, this region has been included by Nepal in its new map. But prominent fact here is that these regions have been under the administration of India for quite some time. Now let us look at the first question, the chronology of the events. To understand this, we'll have to go back about 6 months. In the month of November 2019, the Indian government released a new map of India after the reorganization of Jammu and Kashmir. This was objected to by Nepali government, saying that the Kalapani region, which belongs to Nepal, has been included in the Indian territory. But no major diplomatic dispute arises from this. Now jump to May 8, 2020. On this day, our Defence Minister Shri Rajnath Singh virtually inaugurated a road to Lippu Lake Pass with the objective of easing the travel of Kailash Mansarovar Yatris. But this time, the issue gets blown over. Protests sprung up in Nepal, and also the Nepali government strongly condemned the Indian government. On seeing the protests on May 15, 2020, Indian Army Chief M.M. Naravane, who is incidentally also the Army Chief, Honorary Chief of the Nepali Army, passed a comment stating that the protests in Nepal could be at the behest of someone else, by which he obviously meant a Chinese hand could be behind these protests. Now what happens is, on May 20th of 2020, KP Sharma Oli, the Prime Minister of Nepal, addresses the media and says Indian corona could be worse than and more dangerous than the Chinese corona. Well, that's hitting below the belt, but still, that's a rhetoric statement that keeps occurring now and then. But he did not stop with this. He goes on to release a new map of Nepal, which includes the triangular region that we spoke about, the Limpiadura, Kalapani and the Lippu Lake triangular region in the Nepali territory. Now, this map is under consultation in their parliament for approval. That is where the current situation is now. Now, to understand this particular issue, it is important to know its history. This takes us to our second question. That is, to understand the historically significant facts behind this issue. To do that, we'll have to go back about 200 years. That is, to 1800s and the British era. From 1814 to 1816, a war rages on between the British and the Gorkha Kingdom. At the end of the war in 1816, a peace treaty is signed called the Sugauli Treaty. Presently, the Nepal government claims the Kalapani territory on the basis of this particular treaty. So let us look at what is that aspect of the treaty which supports the Nepali government. Article 5 of this treaty states that Kali river forms the western boundary of Nepal. That is, the region to the right of the Kali river is the Nepali kingdom. Now you may ask, it has been clearly stated, so where is the confusion, right? So there are two factors which lead to confusion. One, the Sagouli Treaty did not have any associated official map with it. So there was no clear-cut delineation of the Nepali territory. Second, the Kali River, which is considered as the western boundary of Nepal, is considered to have two sources. One, the Nepal believes the source is at Limpiadura, while India considers the source of the Kali River at a region below Kalapani. And both have maps from the British era to substantiate it. This is because before 1870, the British government released maps showing Limpiadura as the source of Kali River and Nepali region to the right of Limpiadura as Nepal Kingdom, while after 1870 the British government changed the map and said the origination of the Kali River begins below Kalapani, hence to the right of the Kalapani is the Nepali territory. So since 1870, the second map of the British government has been followed, and the status quo did not change even after 1947, that is after the independence.
And no Nepali monarch raised an objection to the Indian administration of Kalapani region. Especially after 1962, the strategic significance of the Kalapani region increased manifolds for India. The Indian government in fact placed troops and built military posts in Kalapani region to deter the entry of Chinese troops through the Lippu Lake Pass. This continued for many years. But changes started happening after 1990. So what is the significant change in 1990? This was a decade when Nepal moved towards the democratic politics. With this particular transformation, voices in Nepal started raising claim over the Kalapani region and they wanted it reclaimed from India. Subsequently, the Nepal government, during the border dispute talks with India, raised this issue of Kalapani and the Lippu Lake, both in 1997 and in 2000. So we see that this issue has been remaining on the negotiation table since 1997. But we see a sudden change in aggressiveness and the tone of Nepal in the past few years. That takes us to our third question. That is the role of the politics of Nepal on the Indo-Nepal relations. If we see the last decade, the Nepal politics has been more on a nationalist agenda. Nationalism in Nepal is equated more with anti-India sentiments. And hence, the anti-India rhetorics have increased in the political campaigns. And in fact, KP Sharma Oli, the present Prime Minister of Nepal, came to power on a highly anti-India rhetoric and an anti-India campaign. And right now, his popularity has waned. 2 years have passed. There could be a no confidence motion against him. And hence, there is a possibility that he sees this as an opportunity to shore up his popularity. Having addressed the three questions, let me place my final thoughts on this issue. Nepal forms a significant buffer state between two major powers, which is India and China, and it would not be in India's interest to let Nepal veer off towards the Chinese influence. At the same time, Kalapani is a strategically significant area for India, and India cannot give up its take on the Kalapani region. While we talk about all this, we have to take note of the fact that India and Nepal, for one, have an open border, and for the second, we have solved 98% of our border disputes over talks. So on this particular issue, it's important that it's sorted out through talks across the table in an amicable way and continue our shared relationship going forward. In Nepal's case, in my opinion, India could be a better listener and engage them more for a healthy two-way relationship and I believe that would help break this image of India as a big brother in the Nepali minds.
Thank you for listening. If you like it, please do share and subscribe. If you have a different opinion, please do write to us. The email address is available in the description box. I'll meet you in the next episode with a more interesting topic. Until then, it's your CV.